Welcome to Tunage, yeah. Welcome to Tunage, yeah. Welcome to Tunage. Welcome to Tunage, yeah, yeah. Hello. Welcome back to Tunage, where the music never stops. Thank you for tuning in today. And wow, I am back. It's been a while. How are you? Doing good? Yeah, you're doing all good? That's good. Yes, it's been quite a while since I've done some recording. And I'm happy to be back. It's, I just missed it a lot and I want to do it again. So, let's get right into it. So, today, I am talking about listening to 500 records. That's 500 in 1 year. Now, that might not seem like a lot. Alright? It might not. And to me, when I came up with this idea, it was like, oh yeah, that's easy to do. I listen to records all the time. Yeah. Near the end, I'll explain as the story goes on, alright? But, sit back, grab some snacks, grab a drink, whatever you want, and, take a trip with me on this journey of listening to 500 records in 1 year. That is 365 days, alright? So there's almost double the amount of records I had to listen to. Alright? So, story time. Let me take you back to January, probably late January 2023. Alright? Setting the scene. It's winter. There's snow on the ground. It's cold. All the wonderful things of January. Alright? And, that's when a lot of times it's like the midwinter blues kind of kicks in, right? And I was like, well... And I wanted to do a resolution of sorts. It wasn't a resolution necessarily. But I wanted to do something that would be like, working towards, a goal to work towards for 2023. Rather than improving my health or improving anything actually useful in my life, I decided, well, I'm going to spend 500 records in 1 year. Why? I don't know. But the scene is like late January, and I'm sitting around, and, I was like, what could I do? And this idea, I wanted to I've always kind of wanted to catalog the records I listen to, because I listen, there's the Spotify Wrapped that comes out every year, and it's cool, but I listen to a lot more records than I do listen to albums on Spotify. So I was kind of like, well, I'm curious, I want to try to do something like this year. And then the idea of, well, why not try to listen to 500 songs? 250? No, that's too small. 500. So I came up with this idea to listen to 500 records in 1 year. So February 1st was the starting date, because I already missed January 1st. So February 1st I started. So I got myself this book. As you can see, it's really wonderfully decorated with vinyl logbook there. Yeah. Alright, and if you flip the page, you could see my first page here. You got 500 albums, alright? So I had this book, and it started on February 1st, alright? So the way the method was working was I'd put the artist, the title of the album, the year, and then my personal rating on the album, alright? So, as you can see, the first album I listened to was Ozzy Osbourne, alright? Great start. Okay, so I thought this was going to be easy. I'm like, not a problem, right? And so I got really in-depth, right? I was keeping tallies on the years. This is just a whole bunch. I was keeping tally on the year, kind of gave up on that halfway through, because I was like, I couldn't. I was keeping track of the artists, which I did go through later on, and I'll show you after. And then I was keeping track of the ratings. I also stopped that halfway through, right? And so there was there was a lot of madness around this idea. And so anyways, February 1st I listened to a couple records, and February 4th I listened to some, February 5th, 7th, 9th, okay, it continues on throughout the year, and I'm spinning records, alright? So, what I also was doing was I was keeping track of the amount of albums I listened to every month. So, In February, I did pretty good. I listened to 43 records. That's 43 individual albums. Now, what qualifies as listening to a record? Well, I was a little lenient with this. I said if I spun half a record, if I spun half a record and then I spun the other half another time, it would equal out to as one, right? So if I'm, at the end of the night, I put on half an album, or I just want to hear a couple songs on this album, and then I'll spin the other half, maybe the next day. That's what I considered as one full record spin, all right? But it was most of the time, it was full records. Like 97.9% of the time was a full record start to finish. Sometimes there was a couple halves, all right? But the halves always equaled one whole because I ended up listening to it the next day or the following day if I didn't listen to any records that day. Now, with that out of the way, February, I listened to 43 records. So I'm listening to records and, having a good time. People would come over. I'd put some records on. Woohoo, yahoo. It'd be fun, right? And then March happened. And I was like, wow, I listened to a lot of records this month. And March of that year, as you can see, the goal was already starting to fall apart. My idea was already starting to fall apart because in March I listened to 21 records. All right, I listened to only 21 records in March. And if you're doing math, right? So if we do math, 500 albums, I'd have to at least listen to 40, 50 between there throughout the whole year. And my second month in, I'm only doing 21 records. So March was pretty pitiful. So I stepped it up in April. I'm spinning records. People come in. April 51. Boom, big tally. Okay, 51 records. That is the second most listened to month. Sorry. All right. So I listened to 51 records in April. Then May continues, 48, June, 42, July, 47, August, 45, and I was like, yeah, cruising along pretty good average here. I was keeping it up, summer too, we'd have barbecues, people come over, we spin multiple records a night there, it wasn't a record a day, So anyways, as we continue on, August comes around, and then stop. Hi, folks. Please excuse the interruption. Excuse me. He did not tell you to stop, all right? Get back to work. We have to reach 500 records before the end of the year. Let's go. Back to the story. What did I do? I don't know. I decided to spin less records in September because, time's winding down. Why not spin less records, right? So I only listened to 28 records in September. Now, I'm going to give you a reason why. That's because I just started my new job, up at the high school here. And I was working there. And, it's the beginning of the year. Things are getting in working order. I'm doing a lot of working, getting into the routine. So I kind of, had a reason for missing out. So October comes around. 42 records. November, 42 records. Tied it. 2 months the same. And then December, 44 records. And I'm like, wow. I'm getting pretty close. At this point, I'm about 50 albums away from achieving my insane goal. And this is where things start getting gruesome and excruciating. It's like I was realizing, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of music to listen to. Like I didn't take into consideration, about October, November, I was like, okay, that 500's coming up soon. I still got a couple months there. November comes, it's coming up. I should probably start to listen to more records. 42, that's fine. December, okay, we're getting really close now. And then January, whew, all right. So I did a crunch in January. I spun 52 records, all right? 52 records in January. Wow, that was, like, it wasn't, it wasn't like it was a bad thing I was doing. Like I didn't hate listening to records. Like I'm always down for listening to records and stuff like that. But when you have a job that you're working 40 hours a week, and on the weekends you want to do other things like play video games and stuff, and then you're like, I still got this insane goal. Because if I failed this goal, I would probably have been so pissed off at myself. I had to achieve this goal. It was like mindset. And ask anyone, all my friends there, they're like, I was like, I have to get 500. And yeah, in the end, I listened to 52 records in January. And so here's the week leading up. It started, see the writing gets a little sloppier now. The stars, I don't give a crap anymore. All right. And then January 31st, I listened to 5 albums in January 31st. All right. And then, boom, big 500, all right? I did it. And it was James and the Shame. I mentioned him before on this channel. Human Overboard 2022, 5 stars, okay? That was the final tally. And when I put it on, I almost broke down and cried. I was like, wow, I did it. I had a whole moment in the living room there, and I was jumping up and down and happy as I wrote down the final number. Whew. All right. So, what did I learn from doing this? Well, I learned that 500 records is actually quite a few records. At the time when I was like, oh yeah, 500 records, that's nothing. Yeah, no, it's nothing. It's not nothing. It was a lot of work. Mind you, I'm just putting on a record and listening to it. It's really not that much work if you think of it, but it was a lot of work to get to 500. Like, I was pushing myself to, like, listen to records. And, like, I kind of realized at the end, that's not something I want to do. I want to listen to music when I want to listen to music. I want to listen to my records when I want to listen to records. I don't want to force myself to listen to records because I got this stupid goal that I made in my mind. Don't know why I did that. But it made me appreciate, like, it just made me appreciate how, like, I don't know what it made me appreciate, to be honest. I didn't really think that far ahead. I just know that listening to 500 records was a crazy, crazy feature, and I'm very proud of what I've done, and, it's nothing. It's not like I ran a marathon or anything like that, but in a way, my ears went through a marathon. I spun a lot of records and had a lot of musical experiences, and it's really cool. So there's a couple days in here, like August 9th, right? So we have August 9th as a sad day in Canadian music history. We lost Mr. Robbie Robertson. August 9th, for example, starts here, right? There's a little line here. August 9th, Ronnie Hawkins. I started with Ronnie Hawkins because why? Well, that was the first band that Robbie Robertson played in. Then he goes with Bob Dylan, right? I didn't have any Bob Dylan in the basement tapes with them originally, so I did an older album, 1974, Planet Waves. And then we got the band, right? Because Robbie Robertson passed away on that day. Same thing for Gordon Lightfoot. I spun one of his records. The first time I got some of these records, I spun them here, right? And there's a lot of my listen to pile that's on here. So it's kind of a cool keepsake, because now, I can scroll through and be like, oh yeah, remember on December 31st, I could see what my New Year's Eve playlist was with my friends and stuff like that. So it's kind of a cool little memento that I can have for years to come now. So, I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a good time doing it. It was challenging, and, it's not necessarily a super big challenge, but it was challenging to get to 500 because, well, if you do the math, okay, a roughly average 45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes is a record, right? Then times 500, I'll leave you to do the math, or I'll do it later on. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm not good with math. But you do the math, that's a hell of a lot of music I listen to. Like, that's a lot of hours of music, and yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. Anyways, going by the numbers. So the final numbers here. So these are all the artists I listen to, alright? There's 2 pages worth, alright? So I listen to, in 500 albums, 246 different artists. So that's pretty much half of the albums I listened to were different artists each time, alright? And then, obviously, we have the extra. We have the others, right? And I bet you're all dying to know who my top listened to was, because I calculated it all, right? So they all have these little tallies. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can. All these little tallies here. All right, and that's me going through the book afterwards. And okay, I listened to Ozzy Osbourne 3 times. What? Really? I thought I listened to him more. I was kind of astounded at the amount of times I didn't listen to some of these people. Like a good one, for example, was like Uriah Heep. I love Uriah Heep. I only listened to one album in 500 songs in 1 year. Isn't that crazy? Like, I could have swear I remember listening to more, but no, I guess not. Or, Elton John. I only listened to 2 albums in a whole year. Like, what? But the book doesn't lie. I tell you, I literally marked down every single one. So when I see that, I'm like, wow, damn, I need more of these guys in my life. But I have a lot of their albums. I just, other things come first. So, top 5 artists I have. Number 5 being, it's a tie, right? I had Alice in Chains and Pink Floyd. They're tied, all right? They're tied at 9 each, all right? I love Pink Floyd. I love Alice in Chains. So those are number 5 and 4. Number 3 was Tragically Hip. I listened to a heck of a lot of Tragically Hip. I listened to 11 Tragically Hip records. Number 2 was James and the Shame, which was my 500th record, by the way, because I love that record. But there we go. James and the Shame, right there. That's 12. I listened to him 12 times. And Mr. Jim Croce came in with a whopping 17 times. All right, 17 times. He's over here, Jim Croce, 17 times. And that's only recently, too. That started in June because I borrowed one of my mom's friends' Jim Croce records, and I ended up just spinning that, and then I loved it, and I went through a huge Jim Croce kick, and now he won. He's the number 1 artist I listened to in 2023 for vinyl records. Was Jim Croce with a whopping 17 listens, 17 times. So, this was the record I listened to the most of this year. I listened to this 17 times. The album I listened to the most out of all 500 in 1 year. So, whew. That was it was fun, all right? So this book, I was looking into doing it again, not 500, just like cataloging. I've already fallen off that. Like, I think I burnt myself out of listening to records for a little while. Like, being honest, probably since February 1st, 2024, I've probably listened to maybe like 10 records, maybe 15, maybe. Like, I burnt myself out, I think. Which is kind of a downfall, right? Because I do love spinning records, but I burnt myself out. Like, there's so many games I wanted to play. There's so many things I wanted to do. I wanted to make music videos, make videos for you guys on YouTube. I couldn't do that because I was too busy listening to records, right? That's not the only reason, but yeah. Anyways, that is my story to listening to 500 records in 1 year. So, you know what? I did it, folks. I'm very proud of myself for that. It's good. I was very happy when I spun that final record. And, like, I just, when it ended, I sat there on the couch and I was like, wow, I'm done. Like, it felt really, like, it literally felt like like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. Anyways, thank you all for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. There will be plenty more videos coming out soon. Not sure when, but I'm recording a couple videos. You got some videos coming. I'm making some videos. Things are back in action here at Tunage. So thank you all for sticking around, and thank you all for the support. I hope you enjoyed this video. And you know what? Maybe create a goal for yourself. Maybe do like 200 records if you have records. Or maybe listen to 200 different albums on Spotify or something. Who knows, right? Try something out. Try to expand your musical horizons. Because there's a lot of music I didn't even necessarily hear. Like, there's a whole chunk of this is my listen to pile. Stuff I'd never heard before. So, maybe try it. Try it out. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done something like that. Alright. Peace. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Alright? Stay tuned to Tunage, where the music never stops.